The Pixel 10a is basically Google looking at the Pixel 9a and saying, honestly, you were just fine. Let's not get crazy. And the headline is simple. This is one of the most minimal upgrades I have ever seen in a very, very long time. But weirdly, it's still one of the easiest phones to recommend, under $500, but at that point, don't forget that the Pixel 9a exists and can be found cheaper. With all that said, there are a few, emphasis on a few, key differences that might persuade you to get the 10a instead of the 9a, but let's talk about what you're going to notice first, because you're going to pick this up and immediately have a moment where your brain goes, wait, didn't I already review this? For the design, the Pixel 10a keeps that flat, clean, zero drama design language, matte aluminum sides, matte composite back, and IP68 is here again, which in 2026 should just be mandatory, and I'm glad that Google agrees. And Google doubled down on the best part of last year. The back is basically flat, like actually flat. Google even removed the little ring around the camera area, so it's even more flush than ever before, which is something not many reviewers are mentioning right now. That means absolutely zero wobble, no table rocking, no my phone is dancing salsa while I type out a text. Yeah, no te pases. It's also made with a ton of recycled materials, 100% recycled aluminum in the housing, and the back uses recycled plastic, plus a bunch of other things that are recycled inside. So yes, it is eco-friendly, but I mean, if you're going to trade in your newish phone for a Pixel 10a, when you don't technically need to, are you really saving the environment? Anyways, more importantly, it doesn't feel like a cheap toy. It feels like a phone that knows what it is, and this new berry color is fantastic. We need fun colors like this one on the Pro models. And for the display, you get a 6.3-inch 60 to 120 Hz, which is still not LTPO, so it won't adaptively refresh between 1 and 120 Hz, but it still looks great. The real change here is the brightness. Google says it's 11% brighter than the Pixel 9a, and multiple reviewers list peak brightness around 3000 nits. Is it that much better? Technically, but is 11% worth picking this up over the 9a? Well, that's up to you. I don't think so. Also, the cover glass got upgraded to Gorilla Glass 7i, which is one of those improvements you never really celebrate until the day that you drop your phone and suddenly become a believer, but I'm not going to do that unless it's an accident. Bezels are slightly slimmer too, but I'm not going to oversell it because this is not a new phone moment. This is a fresh haircut moment, and it's sort of like going in for a very subtle trim, except you pay $499 plus tax. And for battery and charging, battery is still a 5100 milliamp hour unit, and Google is claiming 30 plus hours and up to 120 hours with extreme battery saver turned on. Translation for normal humans, this is a 1-day battery phone that often becomes a 2-day phone, and I've been very impressed by the battery life, but honestly, I was also impressed with the 9a's battery life from last year, and I can feel a significant difference between the two. Oh wait, that's because it's the same battery size, but charging is finally a little less, well, Pixel. You get wired charging at 30 watts wired and 10 watts wireless, up from 23 watts wired and 7.5 watts wireless on the 9a. Is it OnePlus fast? Absolutely not, but it's a meaningful improvement in the exact way that budget phones need to improve, making your life slightly easier without turning into a space heater. And speaking of heat, let's talk about the performance and the Tensor conversation. The Pixel 10a runs the Tensor G4 with 8GB of RAM, which is the exact same as last year's Google Pixel 9a. So if you were hoping that Google would give the 10a the newest flagship chip, they did not, which I think was an insanely weird move. This is basically the same car with a fresh paint job. But here's the honest part. For the A-series buyer, Tensor isn't about winning benchmarks. It's about the Pixel experience feeling smooth, smart, and consistent, camera processing, call features, helpful AI stuff, and day-to-day usability. And in real life, the Tensor G4 is fine, yes, even in 2026. Not exciting, not elite, just quietly competent. And you can use this for whatever you want to use a phone for, and even lighter gaming and emulation. But if you want a true gamer's phone or the most powerful, stick with the latest Snapdragon device that doesn't break the bank. And for the main reason people even consider Pixel devices in the first place, let's talk about the cameras. Hardware-wise, it's still the classic Pixel A combo. You get a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 13 megapixel selfie camera. So don't buy the Pixel 10a expecting a new camera sensor that changes your life, because it is literally the exact same camera setup as the Pixel 9a. Again, I think this was a huge miss from Google. But instead, buy it because Pixels are still crazy dependable at giving you photos that look good without you having to babysit the settings. Google is leaning harder into camera features this year with things like macro focus on the A series and new tools like Camera Coach and Auto Best Take, where it tries to merge the best expressions in group photos. Will every person use these things? No, but the underlying Pixel camera vibe is still the main reason that this phone exists. You pull it out, you take the shot, you put it away, and you don't feel like you missed the moment. Shots indoors or outdoors in any kind of lighting scenario, it performs as a Pixel phone should. Good dynamic range and accurate colors, and the 4K video is fine. It's nothing amazing, but not horrible for the price tag. And for the software, this is the real upgrade, if you will, of this entire phone. The Pixel 10a launches with Android 16, and Google's promising 7 years of operating system and security updates plus Pixel drops. That's not exactly flashy, but it's quietly one of the biggest value flexes in the entire smartphone market. And even though I still think you should see if you can find a lightly used 9a for cheaper, one benefit that may or may not be important to you is that you do get 1 more year of software and security support since the 9a came out last year. Also, for the first time on an A series device, you get satellite SOS, which is great, in supported regions that is, which is the kind of feature that you hope you never had to use, but you're glad that it exists. And Google keeps pushing the Pixel Plays Nice story like quick share and getting better at cross-platform sharing. Yes, even with Apple devices, Apple and Google, you guys should have done this a long time ago, but that one moment, here is my only real frustration. This phone is so close to being the universal recommendation, but it still skips some obvious quality of life upgrades that people really wanted. It doesn't support Pixel Snap, so you're not getting the magnetic accessory ecosystem that the rest of the Pixel 10 lineup is building. This should have been on this device, especially considering how little the changes are compared to the 9a. Google, I was really expecting at least this feature to be added. And for $499 in 2026, I would have loved to see Google make 256 gigabytes the default. You can get higher storage configurations, of course, if you want to pay more, but the base model is still stuck at 128 gigabytes, and even as someone who relies daily on cloud storage, 128 gigabytes is starting to feel very, very tight.
I knew that it was seconds from you losing me, but I just couldn't give it up. You got me so bad, you make it all sound. I'm not getting closer, you're killing me. You thought it's over, we get along. I'm not getting closer. I knew that it was seconds from you losing me, but I just couldn't give it up.
So should you buy this phone? If you have a Pixel 9a, that is an easy answer. No, do not buy this phone. Now, if your current phone is broken or you're the type who upgrades for the vibes, sure, whatever, just go buy it, because you're not really upgrading, you're really just reconfirming. If you have a Pixel 7a, 8a, and older Galaxy A series, or literally any iPhone from the "my battery is holding me hostage" era, yeah, the Pixel 10a does make a ton of sense, but unless you care about the extra year of support or one of the other very minimal upgrades, just go find a lightly used 9a. It is still incredibly good in 2026 and will be for years to come. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and the hype feature down below, and drop a comment. Would you rather Google keep doing safe, consistent A-series phones, or do you want them to finally take a risk and swing for something more exciting next year? I will see all of you next time.